Okay, I guess I'm on an island here.
I guess I'll never get it then if you're going to tell me
I've
that.
had cheese curds.
Cheese curds.
Those are good.
How about Jordan Love? We briefly mentioned him. He's entering year 3. Obviously, this season, fine, not an issue. But what do you do with him moving forward if Aaron Rodgers is going to stay for years now?
You got to trade him. I mean, in all honesty, I think when they agreed to the contract with Rodgers, they should have moved on from Jordan Love at that point in time. Because here's the predicament you find yourself in, especially this year, if he doesn't get any playing time. He's now 3 years in the league. He's barely played at this point. And you've got to make a decision on his 5th-year option. And remember, when you make that decision, the CBA has changed in the NFL, so it's fully guaranteed. And so it would lead you to think, well, they're probably not going to pick up that option on him. But a lot of that would have to depend on what Aaron Rodgers wants to do. I mean, I don't think he'd agree to a 3-year deal for $50 million per year if he wasn't going to at least play that out for the next year or 2. So this puts Jordan Love in a really tough predicament. And I think, and honestly, I don't know how things would have worked out had he played sooner in his career, and we still don't know what type of quarterback he's going to be. I do know this. This has to be tough on him to handle mentally and really just keeping his confidence of what he can be as a player. So honestly, if it was me, I would try to move on from him now because I think Aaron Rodgers is going to play, he's going to stay healthy, he's going to play well, and he's probably going to play past this year. So there's no point in keeping this young man on your roster at this point.
Well, I disagree with moving on with Jordan Love, and here's why. Yes, we haven't seen anything from Jordan Love outside of the 6 ball games he's played in so far, but he is a first-round talent. They utilized a first-round pick on Jordan Love because of his potential. Granted, he's playing behind one of the best to ever do it throughout his time in Aaron Rodgers. And yes, Aaron Rodgers signed a 3-year extension, but let's keep it real. This deal can kind of be looked at as a 1-year deal based on where Aaron Rodgers is mentally and physically. So if I'm the Green Bay Packers, Jordan Love, unfortunately, it's a tough situation for you to be in as a competitor. But we're going to keep you in this organization as long as Aaron Rodgers is still here. And whenever he decides to ride off in sunset, now you become the guy. And like you said, because he hasn't played, you're not forced to pick up the 5th-year option, similar to what the Cleveland Browns did with Baker Mayfield. So because of that, you still got him for another 2 years after this year. So keep him right there within that organization.
You don't have him for 2 years. You're wrong. That's why I'm saying you got to make a decision now. If you don't pick up the 5th-year option after this year, he's got 1 year. Then you have to franchise tag him if you want to keep him. That price is going to be astronomical. So you're wrong. And that's one of the reasons why.
My thing is this. So all I'm saying is this, and the reason why I say you still have him for another 2 years. Instead of franchising, you can hit him with a low market deal. He has no market value. Who are you going to trade him to right now? He's played 6 ball games. Who's going to give you anything for Jordan Love?
You're going to then pay him and you haven't seen him and Rodgers could still be on your roster? I mean, at this point, like I said, you'd rather cut your losses, take what you can get for him. Otherwise, why would he sign a deal? Wouldn't you think that if you think he's a first-round talent, he'd field a better offer if he's on the free agent market?
He's played 6 games. Who's going to offer Jordan Love $25+ million right now, only playing 6 games? Nobody.
Maybe it's nobody.
So if I'm the Green Bay Packers.
Well, first off, who's saying the Green Bay Packers are going to?
I'm not saying they should or they will or they won't. I'm just saying based on the market. The only thing the Green Bay Packers have to worry about right now is other teams. And there's no market for him.
Let's look at that's in a trade value. And yeah, you can make that case. I'm not going to dispute that. But you'd rather get something for him than nothing for him. The truth of the matter is, though, why would he want to stay and sign an extension if he's still sitting behind Aaron Rodgers? He'd rather try to get to free agency, get more money, which if you want to argue that he's not going to receive more money going on the free agent market and he'd rather sign an extension in Green Bay, I personally think you'd be crazy for saying that. But the reality is he'd find a better opportunity not only to play, but make more money in that instance. So why not go ahead and trade him and get what you can for him now instead of having ride the bench for another year behind Aaron Rodgers?
We'll see. I mean, when you look at the most recent comparison, which was the New England Patriots, they traded away Jimmy Garoppolo, who was a 2nd-round pick, and he had more film than Jordan Love. I mean, it worked out well. It worked out well for San Francisco, but it worked out okay, I guess, for New England as well. But the film was more advanced for Jimmy Garoppolo. Man, we've seen Jordan Love play in 6 ball games. He's thrown 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. If he doesn't play 1 game right now for the next year or the next 2 years, who's trading for that? who's willing to give up anything. And if you're Green Bay, I'm not trading away a first rounder for a sixth
Jimmy
rounder to get a
Garoppolo
sixth rounder
played
in return.
3 games. He only started 3
And
games.
he was
They traded for him.
He was 3-0. 3-0.
You're proving
right?
my point, though. Like, you don't have to play a
3-0.
ton of games in order to get trade value for a player that was highly drafted.
But my point, the point that I'm trying to make, I'm making this point under the assumption Jordan Love doesn't play one more game, meaningful game right now while Aaron Rodgers is there.
But
right?
again,
So he has one start. He has one start. We haven't seen a lot from that start. He completed 58% of his passes. In 6 ball games, he's played 400 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. Who's trading anything valuable to Green Bay for those numbers?
As I said earlier, you're not going to trade anything that valuable for him, and it has nothing really to do with the stats because you're going to base everything off of what you saw of him as a prospect. The bigger issue is if you trade for him, you're only going to have a year left under contract, B-Mac. So that would be why you wouldn't give up a lot for him. If he was under a 4-year deal, you had more control of a former first-round pick. You might pay a little bit more as far as what the trade compensation would be. But that's why they're not going to give up a lot in return. San Francisco traded for Jimmy G with the anticipation that he was going to start and play because they needed him to. And he only had 3 games. So you're literally answering, or you're saying what I'm saying. I just don't think you've convinced yourself of that yet.
No, my point is I disagree. I would not trade him right now. Backup quarterbacks are extremely important. If I trade a first rounder right now because our GOAT is not ready to retire right now, it doesn't help the team, me personally. So
well,
if you're trying
hasn't
to trade
helped
him,
the team in your opinion the past few years, so it doesn't really matter.
No, he hasn't. Because he's playing behind Aaron Rodgers. I mean, how many backups will help the team at all when you're playing behind Aaron Rodgers, right? And that was the biggest dilemma in why drafting Jordan Love. So me personally, I would not trade
to replace Aaron like they drafted Aaron to replace Brett Favre. The problem is
at some point
this has played on a lot longer than obviously even Brett Favre was there to some degree. So that's the biggest
Aaron Rodgers is playing much better football than what Brett Favre was when they drafted Aaron Rodgers in 2005. Yeah. So me personally, I'm just saying I disagree. I wouldn't trade Jordan Love right now. I'm sorry, Jordan Love. This is the price you pay. You're getting paid pretty good money still, and we're going to just ride it out until Aaron Rodgers says, you know what, I'm done, and then you become our guy.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.